What is up, you fucks? We are back with another edition of Doom Scrollcast. It's me, Lord Botha, back another week. And not a ton of news so far. The biggest piece of news, at least in gaming, I feel like I just put a video out for, which is DLSS 5. But we are going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some political stuff. The SAVE Act got passed tonight. Well, it got voted on to pass to open debates on tonight. It didn't actually get passed to actually get approved by the president and go into law and all that. Anyway, we'll get into it. And there's some other stuff. Some trailers dropped today. Dune trailer dropped today. We're probably going to take a look at that. There's some weird stuff with Jerry O'Connell going on Bill Maher's show and how his family, his wife and daughters reacted to Trump being elected president again. Probably take a look at that video too. But yeah, there's been some news, not as lively as it was last week. That's for damn sure. But yeah, welcome in everyone. If you're not familiar with the show, we typically like to go through a few select topics, and then I usually do the doom scroll, which is we just scroll through Twitter. And unlike the quartering, we typically don't run into the problem of having, adult content just brazenly hardcore on our screen, because surprisingly enough, I don't use and interact on Twitter in that way. There's fun fact about the internet, there's plenty of free websites where you can just peruse that. All right, you don't have to be interacting with it on Twitter. All right, anyway, we're gonna do that, but we're gonna do the topics first. Hope you guys have had a really good day. If you're catching the stream on the VOD, always appreciate you as well. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It always helps put the stream out there in the algorithm, doing this long form content. I'd probably say of all the content that I make, streams probably get the least amount of views as compared to shorts, and especially shorts and videos and all that. But that's just because, it's the thing I do the least of as well. And also, I do the most infrequently. I only stream twice a week, at least for right now, on a semi-regular schedule, because it's always in flux the way my life is. But yeah, so we're not going to beat around the bush too much longer. Hope you're having a good night. We'll get into some topics here. 100% live too, for the most part. I don't really do a lot of pre-research. So there's basically me clicking the go live button. That's about it. I got some stuff that is bookmarked here, but that's about it. Let's start off with the thing that I already have a bookmark for, or I already made a video over, and that's DLSS 5. First, we'll just go through the post here. So, okay. I'll move me around, because there we go. Had myself set up for the gaming. But if you didn't know, NVIDIA made an announcement this week that they're launching later this year DLSS 5, and the video keeps fucking just playing automatic. I fucking hate this, dude. I don't know why it's just automatically play. I'm sure I could change it to where it doesn't do it. It's probably me. But NVIDIA announced that they are doing what's called DLSS 5, is a new technology that they're rolling out. AI-powered breakthrough in visual fidelity for games coming this fall. DLSS 5 infuses pixels with photorealistic lighting and materials, bridging the gap between rendering and reality. Basically, the AI in DLSS 5 is able to recognize scenes in games, able to recognize what characters and environments are on the screen, and then adjust the pixels and lighting to make the picture you're seeing on screen more photorealistic, right? They recognize, oh, this is a person with hair. Let's make that more realistic. It's raining, so let's add a dampening filter to make it look wet, etc., etc. And they're able to adjust the picture to make it look more real, as you're going to see here when I bring up the video in full. The problem is that actually a good thing? And I and a lot of people don't seem to think that it actually looks that good. Here, let's just take a look here. So, DLSS 5. Just make sure that's off. And then I gotta make sure that the audio's right. Yeah. Not that one, this one. Everyone. Okay, there we go. So let's take a look. Listen here. See? She looks good there. And that's the filter on. And yeah. Not off to a great start. By the way, she's modeled after a real woman. Does not look like the real woman a lot there. Kind of not great. It just looks off and uncanny valley. And there's a thing about uncanny valley, and the reason why people don't like uncanny valley is because uncanny valley is a point in realism in what you're seeing that you know that it looks hyper real and like it is a real thing that you're looking at, but you also know that it's not real, that it's artificial, it's fake. And the problem with that is that it gives you an uneasy feeling because it feels like you're being tricked. And everything that tricks us and manipulates us in that way that it tries to seem like it's harmless, that tries to seem like something that can be trusted, like something in the uncanny valley field, is typically something that tries to harm us. That just goes back to the fucking caveman period, okay? And that's what uncanny valley kind of taps into, that reptilian part of our brain. And it's why we reject this kind of typically as a species. And that's what this does. That's what DLSS 5 does. I mean, let's take a look at more of it here. Leon looks normal there. And now he looks, I don't know, like a shitty Jamie Lannister. Like she looks way worse. Look at that. This kid is supposed to be a teenager here. He looks like a 30-year-old man. I think I saw a video. I think it was Mighty Keith that said he looks like. He made a video that said like he looks like he's in an ad for Doctor Who. Like it looks bad, man. Like now when they get moving, you see he kind of smooths out a little bit, looks a little bit more teenager-like. But that initial shot it doesn't look good. Starfield, you have your typical Starfield Deadeye NPC. Look, you have a typical Starfield Deadeye NPC now, but in hyper HD realism. Look at that uncanny Deadeye Starfield NPC, guys. Just yapping, because that's what Starfield NPCs do. They just yap, and they yap, and they yap, and they yap, and skit, skak, skit, scoop, good, skak, skit, shut the fuck up. God. That's the problem with Starfield. Like, this is not going to fix Starfield. Starfield's problems go beyond this. Okay? And to be honest, the massive update too that they have coming out for Starfield soon, where they like eliminate load screens between like travel times, you can get up and interact with your crew. There's like added missions, added faction, and blah 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 blah. There's like a whole new like base and house building like system. It still doesn't change the fact that the game is fucking Starfield, dude. The base game it has to be torn down from the studs and rebuilt. And that's the reason why mods are the only thing that make Starfield good, is because the mods are capable of tearing the game down to the studs, to the foundation, and building a new game with the bones of that game. That's why that's why the Star Wars mod is probably the best thing for Bethesda and Starfield. And you know what's wild with that new massive update that's coming up? They're going to break pretty much all the mods for like probably, I don't know, somewhere between, depending on the size of the mod, depending on the dedication of the mod crew, anywhere between, I don't know, a month and like a year. So, meanwhile, they're releasing this for Starfield, and this is what we're getting. This is the look that we're getting. It just looks terrible, man. Now they look just hyper realistic, and like I don't give a shit. Like, yeah. All right, FIFA. Already a hyper realistic looking game, right? How much more realistic does that even make FIFA look? Like, yeah, it doesn't look like. Also, if you haven't noticed, everything that we've seen, we're almost done with this video here. Everything we've seen of this trailer has been like cinematics and like sitting down, talking to NPCs, static, like just showing character models. They're not actually like in-game actions of characters. It's not actual gameplay that we're seeing. So how does this look at actual functioning gameplay? How does this feel? How does this affect actual functioning gameplay? Which, by the way, you want to talk about functionality. To get this to run, Digital Foundry, who did the testing on this thing, and they wrote an article glazing it, they needed to run two PCs, both running 5090s, which, by the way, this current DLSS 5 only is for the 50 series of graphics cards for NVIDIA. And so far right now, it is an option that you can toggle for now. And we'll get into that later. But yeah, they had to run two 5090s. One to play the game that they were playing, and another to run DLSS 5 only. Because that's how much VRAM, that's how much power, that's how much dedication it needed from the system to be able to do this. This is why RAM is $900, folks. This kind of shit right here. And like I said, here, we'll just finish this. All right, yeah, there. AAA gaming studios, that's basically who this is made for. This is made for AAA gaming studios that are going to be more like, I think they specifically name drop things like Tencent and Bethesda, Ubisoft. I can't remember if they said EA. They might not have said EA, which that would be wild if they didn't. But I don't remember seeing in the announcement EA. But places like NetEase, which basically all the China slot games, they're going to be using this in almost every AAA studio, right? To basically be what they think is a cost-cutting like maneuver. So the idea is that we don't have to pay in labor costs by having to pay workers to make more detailed character models. We could just make bare bones character models and then have DLSS 5 finish rendering the character and making the character's full makeup based upon prompts or something like that. And it will really cut down, animation time, rendering time, all that. They're going to push this thing to its limits in terms of what it's capable of producing just on its own, how minimal they can put work in terms of a character model for it to flesh out and fill. And I think in the long term, it's going to actually end up costing them money. Just in the same way that so CGI, right? Used to be practical effects were extremely costly, all the makeup, all the suits, all that is very, very expensive. So a cost-cutting measure, right, that Hollywood studios decided to invest in was CGI. Well, what have we seen over the past 2 decades? Those costs have actually reached parity, if not more expensive than practical effects, to the point where you have, movies that cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and a lot of that money is in the CGI budget. Also the reshoots and all kinds, marketing, all kinds of fuck-ups and whatever, but a lot of that goes to the animation CG budget, especially films that are heavily like that, like anything out of the MCU or DC or just action, sci-fi, fantasy, action films. I mean, they spent fucking $1 billion on Rings of Power, and a lot of that was due to the budget on CG, things like that. But yeah, I mean, Activision is definitely going to use this. Activision is going to use the shit out of this because they need to crank out Call of Duties, and any kind of what they think is cheap to cut corners, they're going to use to make the next slop Call of Duty game. And Call of Duty games already look like AI anyway. Maybe that's it. Maybe why Call of Duty was such dog shit, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, was because, and everybody thought it looked like an AI game, was because maybe they got an advanced access to DLSS 5. And that was like a test of DLSS 5. A secret test was Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I don't know, but I just don't see this. This is a gimmick. They're going to want it to be the future of graphics and gaming. And if they do that, if they go that route in the AAA sphere, this is what is going to end up happening is indie games are going to be pushed more towards the forefront than they already are, especially if they promote style over substance, or style and substance over just blanket graphics, I should say. Because this has no substance, this has no style. It's muting the general art and the artistic vision that was seen from the game makers. And somebody posted a screenshot of fucking Death Stranding 2. I'm not a Death Stranding fan, by the way. And let me see if I can find it here. Let me see. Turn caps lock off. Death Stranding 2 DLSS 5. All right. Yeah. The game verse here. Look at this. Clearly, that looks good. has no AI involved in it. And then you have this. It looks muted, cheap. This is going to ruin the AAA gaming sphere more than it already is, quicker than it already is being ruined if they go this route. Because everything's going to look the same. Everything's going to have the same AI slop feel to it. By the way, and I said this in my video too, if you haven't noticed, take a look at some of the biggest games in terms of player count, sales, money generated, revenue generated, etc. You know what games they are? They aren't games, interestingly enough, that have hyper-realistic graphics. That's right. They are games like Fortnite, Pokemon, and Minecraft. None of those games have very realistic graphics. Pretty cartoonish to pixelish. I mean, what game has super hyper realistic graphics that can compete with the sales and the money made by those two? Or those three? None of them. And they're never going to. The simple fact is that you can't sustain a game farm, which they're all about basically, on those kinds of graphics. And you can't have a sustainable game ecosystem where you're cranking out these kinds of games. And it's going to take so much power and time to optimize for this. Like, imagine we're just now getting GTA 6 after waiting so long for GTA 5. It's going to be like 2040 before we get GTA 7, just because they have to fucking optimize for DLSS 5. This is not the way, man. Like, this is just the clearest sign that indie games are going to go back to eating AAA lunch, and there's just not a thing that they could do about it if they embrace this. But yeah, I don't think that's a good idea whatsoever. Pretty wild. Oh, let's see what we got here. Okay, so the Dune trailer dropped. Let's play the game of, will I get hit for this? And react to it. All right. Let's make sure we got the right one here. Let's see. All right. Looks like I got volume.
If we have a girl, what will we name her?
I'm sorry. I'm to the point where when I see Zendaya in a trailer, I'm just like, fucking again? Like, I'm so tired of seeing Zendaya look just displeased in everything that she's in. And that's the only emotion I really get from her, is displeased and sarcastic.
Her name should be Ganima. She would need to be strong.
What's this? Dead Now says GTA 7 in 2035 might bring AI into acceptance. I mean, hey, if GTA 6 can get people to accept $100 games, by the way, I mean, I guess if anything can do it, I guess GTA 7 can do it. How far can we press the limits of Can GTA touch this? Can GTA fix this?
Her mother. What if it's a boy?
I would name him Plato. So he would have the wisdom of his grandfather.
Conversely, I think people are giving Timothy Chalamet way too much shit, and he's right. Nobody gives a shit about Broadway and ballet anymore. They're for a niche audience, and if you go to them as an actor, that's not necessarily a sign that your career is healthy.
War feeds on itself.
He's back in his King
The more
era.
I fight, the more our enemies fight back.
Isn't he supposed to be married to her?
I'm doing the best I can to protect my family.
Fucking Robert Pattinson looks different.
How did father do it?
Your father never started a war.
I guess one of the reasons why I could never get into Dune, by the way, is that it's like minimalist sci-fi. I get the whole idea that it's like, oh, it's supposed to be so far advanced in the future where like it's just they're beyond like tech to where now like traveling is almost instantaneous. So like the idea of like fighting with guns is kind of mundane. So they go back to swords, and it's a cross between like sci-fi and fantasy at this point, because we've blurred the lines where science pretty much is like magic that we weave. But not to get too deep and philosophical there on it, but I just, it's never something that's appealed to me.
I'm not afraid to die. But I must not die. Yet.
Yeah, I heard Jason Momoa's character is supposed to be a clone in it. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Dune has never really been my thing. Kind of like I said. I saw the first part. I didn't see the second part. Well, that's not true. I think I did see the second part once. Like it's all right. I mean, like, I know the general story of Dune, and the general story is that the writer, I can't remember his name, but he wrote it as basically a warning and like a allegory about JFK, and he was worried about the like power of demagogues in politics and them able to charm and win a cult of personality, and people, you know, being super into them, and you know, being able to establish a stranglehold on politics and society. I just don't think that. I don't know. Like, Paul is, a lot of people, not to spoil it for you, but like, Paul is the bad guy of the series technically. Like, he infiltrates and uses a group of radicals to make him believe that he is their messiah, to essentially gain power and become emperor. Like, and as an emperor, like, he is an absolute asshole. Like, that is the story. Like, the first part of the story is a hero's journey, right? He's getting vengeance on the guys that killed his family, all that. But, like, in the end, like, he's a bad guy, like, or portrayed at least as a bad guy. Today, in movie standards, like, he's probably going to look pretty fucking cool. So, and people are actually going to cheer for him because we've been trained to root for bad guys more. Loquacious is here. Hello, Loquacious. Says, I enjoyed the first two films, and Lynch is from the 80s. Though I enjoyed post-1 movie, or post-1 more, Zendaya is far and away the worst part of the films. Yeah. She just takes away, like, you know those people in your life that they just kind of walk in and they just, like, they're energy vampires. They just kind of suck the whole energy out of the room. She does that for movies for me. Like, she just walks into a scene, you're like, oh, fuck, this scene just got worse. Like, just like, okay, all the acting energy just got sucked out of here. Like, how are you supposed to act with a wooden plank? And first one, it's fine, man. I kind of knew what you were saying, but I'm fucking Ron Burgundy. I'm beardoing. I'm Ron Burgundying, where I'm just reading. But yeah, I actually did like the first one more, I would say, than the second one, and I saw the 80s one a long time ago when I was way too young to understand what the fuck was happening. But I thought it was okay. And that was about it. I remember seeing it and being presented as like it was like a sci-fi fantasy like epic like Star Wars. I remember as a kid going into it thinking it was something along the lines of Star Wars, but it is not like Star Wars at all. It was the wrong impression to give. My parents would do that a lot to me. My mom and my grandmother would tell me a movie was one thing, and then I'd go in and I watch it and it's something completely different. Like, that happened a little bit. But yeah, if you're into Dune, I know a lot of people I've seen are very hyped after seeing the trailer. You're probably going to like this. I think once you hit a part 3 of a film series, you're either on the fucking train or you do not care. And at this point, I'm one of those that is in the do not care stage. Like, I'll probably go see it because I've seen the first two. So they got me in that way. And my wife will probably go see it because she likes Timothée Chalamet. And she kind of liked the first two movies. Which, my wife is an avid reader. She tried to read the books. Failed. Could not read it because of how not easy they are written. I'll probably go see this movie. I can't guarantee that I'll like it, but yeah. Oh, let's see here. Okay, I guess we'll get into some politics. Where did I had it? I thought I had it. What the fuck? I thought I had it saved here. No. All right, hold on. Save. This will take... What the fuck? Oh, I'm searching my bookmarks. That's why. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. One of the first ones. So, now we're going to get into some politics here. So, let's... Oh, shit. Fuck. All right. I got to make sure I click here and click there because I don't have hotkeys and I refuse to. All right. So, Leading report says here, breaking, U.S. Senate has voted to advance the Save America Act 51 to 48. Now, a lot of people will see this and they'll be like, oh, yay! We passed the SAVE Act. That is not true. We passed the SAVE Act to go to debate. So this kind of shit means not a whole lot. Sorry. This means that they agreed to have arguments and make amendments and stuff like that. So, yeah, this is probably it's going to be filibustered. Maybe not passed. I don't know. If I'm being quite honest with you, domestic policy under the Trump administration passed the most showboaty part. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about there, but yeah. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Like in Congress, it's the most showboaty part where they get up and they make their grandstanding speeches. Yeah, I get it now. But for the sake, yeah. The thing is here is that it still has to go through all that debate, all that grandstanding, like we were just saying. People are going to make speeches, blah, 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 blah. And, Democrats are going to get up, say, this is the worst thing in the world, racism, literally killing us, yada, yada, yada. And Republicans are going to get up and they're going to say, we need this to save America. We need to protect elections, election fraud, Democrats cheat, yada, yada, yada. And there's going to be posturing back and forth. And then eventually they're going to try to find some way to get the votes to put it over or make some kind of compromise, and you're going to get a watered-down version of the bill probably. You're probably not going to get all the assurances that Trump wants, which is I think they wanted to amend this bill to include an end to gender reassignment surgeries for minors, which is an important thing. Seems a little strange to contain in an act that's supposed to be about election fraud, but okay. I mean, I support it, but there was one other thing they wanted to put in it. Where was it? I had a list here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Amendments and restrictions to transgender women participating in women's sports and mail-in voting. Yeah, mail-in voting is a big one. And mail-in voting is a problem. I'm kind of with Trump on the whole idea that if you're mail-in voting should be restricted to servicemen who are not stationed in America, or people who have some severe medical condition that they cannot make it to the polls that restricts them physically. Other than that, fuck them. There's far too much voter fraud that happens in this country. I truly believe it, and a lot of it I wouldn't even say is malicious. It's just accidental stuff. I mean, think about the mail that you get registered to people who are not alive anymore. I remember being like 18 maybe and still getting mail that was registered to my great grandmother who died when I was like, I want to say like 4. Like, what does it say here? Ooh says that shit def needs to stop. I bill act whatever for each issue, no add-ons. One bill. Yeah, I would like line item bills where it's just one line item that we are discussing and making a bill. Fortunately, Congress will never do that because whenever something benefits both sides of Congress, that shit is never going to stop. Because if it benefits both sides, neither side has any right or any desire to champion it. Any desire to be like, oh, we need to end this, right? Which is why it's so fucking astounding that any people in Congress are getting up and saying, hey, we need to limit stock trades by Congress and their family. Because that is wildly in the face of anybody trying to make money in Congress. However, it is an easy way to get rid of some people. That I honestly think that one of the big things that did Dan Crenshaw's career in was him being so publicly like saying, well, yeah, I'm going to try to make money off of stocks in Congress. If we can't make money doing this job, no one's going to want to do it. It's like, that sounds wildly not public servant of you. I just don't like. It's so stupid, man. Like, why would you say that? Quasia says, I honestly wish they'd line item each bill, but that'll never happen. Instead of loading a bill with 1,000 items, create 1,000 bills. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, line item bills don't benefit anybody. Line item bills don't benefit anybody because you can't shove all the stuff that you want to shove in there secretly and get it passed. You can't, because it's easy when you have a bill that's 8,000 pages, right? And you're a senator, you rely on, I don't know, 13 interns to go through all these bills and read every single line and highlight and flag important stuff. And for them to slip it in. Now, is it probably going to get caught? Yeah. But can they still use it as leverage to get something they want? And vice versa? Yeah. I mean, this is how the sausage gets made, right? The negotiations between everybody thinks it's just easy, like arguing and grandstanding over certain items. No, there's backroom trading and dealing and negotiating on, it's very Julius Caesar where, who was it? It was Mark Antony and Octavian, Augustus Caesar. There's a part in at least the play where they're sitting down and they're literally like, they have lists of names and they're checking off list of names and going back and forth over who is their friend and who is the other person's friend, who they're going to essentially kill as retaliation for like betraying Caesar that sided with Brutus. And they got to make those negotiations. And it feels like that. You're literally trading off these things. But, I mean, eventually we're going to get a watered down version of the bill. It will pass. Republicans will claim it as a victory. Now, the problem is that I think Trump's overall problem is more than just this. I think the overall problem that no one wants to address is that Trump was elected as a domestic president and he is effectively acting like a foreign policy president. People wanted Trump in office to fix domestic problems, to fix not just the social, cultural problems that he seems to be championing so heavily, but also, and moreover, the economic problems. Let's be honest, let's be real. Trump was elected to fix the economy because he had a very strong economy when he was last president. So they said, well, we know you can provide us a good economy, so get back in there, give us the good economy again. The problem is that Trump, I think, feels like he cannot get the domestic policies he wants to pass in with the majority that he has in Congress. And at this point, I don't feel like he's confident that they can even maintain their control of Congress. And I don't think you're going to get a blue wave and like Democrats take control of Congress like full-heartedly. No, I think what you're going to end up having is a deadlocked Congress that maybe leans slightly more left. And because of that, I think Trump is relying on foreign policy and what he can do from a foreign policy standpoint that he can have actual direct hands on to try to affect the economy and leave a long-lasting legacy. Because it's all about legacy now for Trump. Right? He can flirt with, I'm going to run with a third term. No. Probably not going to happen. So this is all about legacy. And foreign policy is a very quick way, especially in the face of domestic troubles, a very quick way to change your legacy, or at least preserve a good legacy. If you can stop so many wars, if you can overthrow the Iranian regime, you overthrow the Venezuelan regime, establishing new regimes actually in those areas that are more friendly with us than to our adversaries. That's what's important, right? And it lays the bedrock for future economic success with future partners. Unfortunately, it doesn't do a lot for the here and now. It also doesn't help that, gas is over $3 where I am, $5 in some places. And that's specifically because of the actions of the administration. They're the ones that decided to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. I don't think this is what people envision the direction of the second Trump administration going. I think they envisioned a far more domestic policy administration because that was the bread and butter kind of the first administration, and they were relying on him to go back to that in the second administration and honestly own the libs doing that. And this seems to be going against type for Trump. I don't understand. I don't think, and as far as the SAVE Act goes, we'll probably get a watered down version of it. Let's see here. Where was the other? I think Jerry O'Connell was the last one I wanted to. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll talk about our poor boy Jerry O'Connell. Because this seems like this is probably a good one. All right. Gonna take a swig of water. Oh, okay. Let's go here. If you haven't heard, our boy Jerry O'Connell, right? Sliders, Kangaroo Jack, all that shit. At least that's where I remember knowing him from at the earliest. He is in. Well, let's just play the video and you'll see exactly what his problems are.
I'm going to tell you about a bit of. I say this. Will I stay married? Blow it over here. My
Sounds like you're going to blow it over here.
The night of the election, this third one.
Yeah.
Third election. Everyone
saying sliders so casually, you're the best. Dude, I grew up in a sci-fi house. You have to understand, I had the kind of mom that was in OG AOL blogs over Farscape, okay? She was going to conventions dancing with the actors that were in Farscape, okay? Got to meet Ben Browder and shit like that. So yeah, Sliders was on that menu. I got ancillary viewing of Sliders as a very small child.
Knows what I'm talking about here. I was watching late at night the returns, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't think Trump was going to win. I live in California. I didn't think he was going to win. From what I was hearing,
I didn't either.
Yeah, you're
I
not.
think he was going to win.
Social
This is where I live, you know?
Yeah.
I said something along the lines of like, there was no planning. This is what they get. There should have been a primary. I said something along those lines, you know? Like,
The Democrats acted retarded, is what he was essentially saying.
I was just spitballing ideas as to, it was a shock, you know? My wife and daughters.
It was a shock to nobody that it was actually not living in California and following the election. But yeah, I can see how in the environment, especially what he's about to say here, he had that kind of feeling and reaction.
Without saying anything, became physical with me. They were filled with rage. So if I am being careful with you in how I say things, yes, I live in California. I live with not one, not
Crazy women. He lives with crazy women.
two, but three people who, if I made any kind of joke,
This is the face of a man that needs to hide the knives in his house. This is a face of a man like blink twice if you need help, my dude.
they would they become very angry with me. You know,
Well,
so
I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but I couldn't live that way.
Word up. That's pretty much how I
would-
feel. Yeah.
Whatever household or whatever situation I'm in, I say what I truly think, and if it makes you angry, I'm sorry. We'll have to work that out.
This is one of those what a face. This is one of those moments where Bill Maher is thinking to himself, "Man, I'm glad I never got married."
it makes
But I am not going to tuck my tail between my legs and just shut the fuck up. This is what you were dealing with when you were a child. Just sit there and don't say anything.
Yeah, but-
Sit on your hands. But what happened to Rob Reiner? More of that, Jerry. More of that.
yeah.
Where's Rob Reiner's ghost when you need him to be telling you more of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pray for this man. He needs our help. I am in the same boat as Bill Maher. I could not live that way. I could not live in an environment where the people that I love, the people who are supposed to be my friends, the people who I hold most dear, my fucking wife and daughters, acted this way because of what I thought about an election. By the way, he's not even saying that he's like a Trump supporter or that he was glad that Trump won. He was just saying that the Democrats did a poor job. Like they ran a poor campaign. Like they did poorly. And they're getting like physical with him, he's saying. Do you imagine? How can you live like that? How can somebody... I don't know. He's wearing pants that come up to his ankles with no socks and gym shoes. Like that. That's the sign of a man, by the way, that like does not have full control of his life. I'm not saying that it's the only like sign, but or that it's completely always a sign, but it is a sign, you know. A kid on Roblox could have campaigned better than a Democrats did. Yeah, I mean, well, they did kind of try to campaign like that. The whole Kamala Fortnite Island. Does anybody remember that? Yeah, Kamala was a bad candidate from an objective standpoint, left, right, it doesn't matter. The personality was just not there. She just seemed like a follower, not a leader. Canned speeches. This is by the way a problem for the Democrats in general, and why I think it's very difficult for them to. I think every election is the Republicans to lose, and the reason for that is that Republicans try to pass policy like it is 1978. They try to pass policy like it's 1978. Democrats still campaign like it's 1978. With their shitty canned speeches and their annoying, people are worried about how they're going to put food on the table. Nobody fucking says that. Nobody fucking says that anymore. It's fucking cringe. All of that is just cringe. And Republicans, they all sit around being like, well, how are we going to find a way to compromise with the Democrats? And we got to care about our norms and our congressional rules. And you know what? Democrats don't fucking care about the norms or congressional rules. So who gives a shit? Throw the norms out. I know you're the conservative party, so you want to be conservative and preserve the norms, but nobody gives a shit about the norms anymore. Politicians say fuck now openly. The field has changed. Wake up, samurai. We got a city to burn. I don't understand, man. And what did he say? Let's go up here. Yeah. This is the sad part. So this is Jerry O'Connell here. He posts, okay, at Club Random, that's Bill Maher's show, was my last podcast. I can't do anything right. X is mad at me. My family is mad at me. Even at New York Post is having a laugh. Only podcast I will ever do again is at Pardon My Take for fantasy preview, and we're drafting at JD5. Whatever. Yeah. That's sad because he's like, my family is mad at me. That means that his wife, probably, maybe his daughters too, saw the podcast and they got mad at him that he expressed his fear and his opinion about how they treated him. Which, I'm not an expert in social sciences. I'm not an expert in psychology or anything like that, or marriage counseling or whatever, but that feels abusive. That feels controlling and at least manipulative. If he can't even express his feelings, like, it's not a situation I could ever live in. And I don't think he should be living in it either. You need to do some soul searching, my friend. You need to do some soul searching. And it's like, this goes beyond politics. We've now crossed into the road of like your actual life. Because if it's this way about politics, what else is it going to be about? They both campaign like it's the 1800s. We should already know who the next top contender is, and they should be directly. They both need to campaign like it's the 1800s. Know who the next top contender is, and they should be directly campaigning right now. It's only 4 years between votes. Yeah, but then again, like, politics was never supposed to be a sport, right? But in this day and age where things move so quickly, I kind of understand. And I think part of the Democrats' problem is that that is a problem for them. Because I think part of the Democrats' problem is they have no heir apparents. They have no leaders. Every time it looks like they might get a leader in their party, they get ousted or they get roasted or they fucking get trolled to death online or something. We got poly market now. Yeah, we can just let the betting market decide, right? Betting market's never gotten anything wrong. By the way, my nose just gets super itchy on stream. I promise I'm not on cocaine, all right? I've not reached that level yet of my Ricada arc to be doing cocaine yet, all right? I have quite a ways to go before I ruin my life with that, all right? My nose is just itchy. I promise. But there is an identity crisis. I think both parties have an identity crisis. The only difference is that the Democrats have an identity crisis with no leaders. The Republicans have an identity crisis with almost too many leaders. Because the Republicans have not just the administration heroes right now. They don't just have J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and, Tulsi Gabbard even is a name that I throw out there and so many more. But they also have Ron DeSantis as a governor. They also have who was it? Vivek Ramaswamy, who I think is running as governor in Ohio. And at least the last polls I show, but they might have been biased polls, didn't look to favor him actually that much. I'm not sure. But yeah, you have Vivek Ramaswamy as well, which I think he has more mass appeal for the United States than just his state. But you have all these leaders, but you also have an identity crisis of how conservative do we want to be? And what is the defining value of our conservatism? Because for some conservatives, the defining value is moralism, upstanding, rightist, Christian morals, right? And some, it's economics, right? Fiscal conservatism. Some, it's nationalism, our state identity, strong foreign policy. And some people, it's different variations or combinations of all those. Liberals don't have an identity crisis really of what they believe in. It's leftism or get the fuck out. The problem is that every leftist leader they have is corny as shit. And nobody wants to listen to them. The least corny of them now is fucking Sanders. And he's fucking 100 years old. He's not going to run again. Bernie Sanders. I don't know. This whole thing is wild, and the political landscape is wild right now. This is probably the most politics I've talked on this show to date. There's been so much happening in the gaming space. But yeah. That's I did have one more thing to look at here. But before we go, one more thing. By the way, it's a little wild that if you haven't kept up, Jeff Keighley is fucking torching the Oscars right now because the Oscars didn't include his father who passed away this year in their memoriam. Because his father was instrumental in the founding of IMAX and IMAX theaters, etc. And he was mad about it. He made a little post saying that he was disappointed. Then he got blocked on Instagram by one of the heads of the academy or something. And then he got really spurgy about that. It's been interesting to watch. Let's see here. Let's talk about that. we'll make that our last subject or whatever. So, if you didn't hear, we're kind of just going to talk about this in general, but I'll put this up on the screen. Michael B. Jordan won Best Actor at the Oscars, which were a couple nights ago. You might not have known because nobody gives a shit about the Oscars anymore. In fact, I saw posted on here somewhere, they posted the ratings. The ratings were actually down 17% from last year. They still touted it as like, it was the biggest live television event, but there's been no live television events other than the Super Bowl. And I think they're excluding the Super Bowl in that one. So, yeah. There were a lot of basic stories that we expected. One battle after another, one best picture. Not a surprise there. Sinners won a few awards. I think best actor. No, it was like best screenplay and best like music score, whatever. And Michael B. Jordan here won best actor. And as you can see, what is this? The Vegan? I don't know who this is, but winning an Oscar, and instead of going to an expensive party, you go to a cheap food, interact with restaurant staff and fans. Lessons in humility. Yeah, after he won an Oscar, Michael B. Jordan went to In-N-Out Burger, and he got burger and was just sort of like interacting with fans. I don't know if I could play that music, but let's see here. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Like, Michael B. Jordan seems like a very down-to-earth, kind of like natural guy. And I really I respect him. He gave a pretty good speech, accepting his award. He didn't make it super political or anything. He thanked all the guys, I think the closest I think you could say he did political is he thanked like the previous black actors who won Best Actor before him. Whatever, that's nice. He thanked his family, all that. It was a good moment, and he deserved the Oscar win. Timothy Chalamet and Marty Supreme were up for like 9 awards. They won 0, which is kind of wild. And people are saying that Timothy Chalamet is the next Leonardo DiCaprio in the way that he's going to be nominated for so many awards and win very few, and probably going to have to wait a really long time till he gets his awards. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like there was some prejudice against him at the end because of his comments about ballet and theater, where he was like, I don't want to, go to niche audiences in ballet and theater because they don't, they're niche. They're, people don't go to them or support them anymore. And there were shots at him throughout the night taken by people who won, people who were presenting things like that. I only knew about the Oscars because Conan hit them with the PDF file joke. Yeah. Conan was kind of all over the place with the comedy at night. Some things landed, some things didn't. I thought he did an okay job hosting from the bits that I've seen of it. Kind of came at everybody of all sides. And that's kind of Conan's prerogative. He's always been kind of a middle of the road guy, despite the fact that I'm sure, and from what I've gathered, he is a pretty hardcore leftist himself. But he's always presented his comedy that's more in the middle of the road. And I think he's made statements before saying that if you only make comedy if you're hyper political in comedy all the time, well, then you're just doing politics and yada, yada, yada. Something of that to the effect. I think he was talking about Stephen Colbert. But yeah, it was a good, he did a good job. I especially liked the bit at the end. They do this thing now where they have like a post-Oscars, like post-credit scene. It's fucking weird. there where they do some bit, and this year's bit was like they tell Conan he did so good at the Oscars they want to make him Oscar host for life, and then they end up like tricking him into a room and gassing him and like offing him, and then they pull the sign with his name on it that says Conan host for life, and they replace his name with Mr. Beast because they're going to YouTube. And you know, anytime you take a dig at Mr. Beast, I'm all for it, because fuck that guy and his eyes that don't work apparently or something. That was always wild to me. He was like, people are like, he looks dead inside. You look dead inside. He's like, no, you don't understand the colors. I'm partially colorblind in one eye, so I gotta like squint one eye to make them both work the right way. And yeah, but that isn't a reason why you look soulless, bro. Like, no. Anyway, so the Oscars happen. Not a whole lot happened that you wouldn't expect to happen. Yeah, pretty uneventful. Who was it? Jessie Buckley, or whatever her name is. She won Best Actor for I don't even remember what. I kind of be honest with you, I didn't even know that this was an actress or what her name was. I've clearly never seen anything that she was in. But she gave a speech, and like apparently it was Mother's Day in the UK, and she was like praising motherhood. That was all sweet and nice. But yeah, pretty uneventful stuff. And yeah, that's kind of all I had. A super lot to, gosh, nah. This is the thing about this. See, this is the thing about X, and what really does end the quartering is that you interact with something just once or twice, and that's what you see in your fucking feed. Okay, so don't interact with it, and we'll show up in your feed. All right. Okay. We're doing the doom scroll now, by the way, if you can't tell. We're just going to scroll Twitter. What we see is what we see. Cole Hauser, that's nice. He's with Ryan. Hans Zimmer says the chant in Doom Part 3 trailer is performed by Timothy Chalamet. Okay. Cool. That's it. Still can't figure out how Anora won Best Picture. Oh yeah, she's clapping her cheeks. What is the worst video? I'm gotta be honest with you. This account, Meme Bastard. Am I even followed to this account? I guess I am followed by him. I think that's because he followed me back one time. I'm thinking of like muting this account, because it feels like this account is ran by 3 people. It feels like this account is ran by like a dude, like a base dude, like his shitlib wife, and then they're like edgelord's son, who's always like, oh, my women don't like me, ugh. So you have to deal with that. And it's really getting out of hand, and I can't quite take it anymore. Just 3 months ago, Joe Kent laid out. Oh, yeah. There was this whole thing, too. Joe Kent was some failed political candidate that was a low-level guy in the Trump administration. He worked under the intelligence. He worked in intelligence offices, and under Tulsi Gabbard and all that. He decided to resign over the Iran conflict. Honestly, who gives a shit? I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about Joe Kent. I really don't. He doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. He's one dude who had a mid-level job, from what it sounds like. Who gives a shit? Shuanhat says, I am now a single issue voter, and that single issue is did not touch that wall. Yeah, Shu has Israel derangement syndrome. Some of these people out there, Verbal Riot, Real Gamers Remember, Game Genie. It's a bit before my time, sir. But some of these people out there have Israel derangement syndrome for sure. Where they're just like, Israel did it. The Jews did it. No, they didn't. Small players. Small fish. China is the big guy. You know you should be worried about? You shouldn't be worried. You should be worried about China, right? What you really should be worried about is fucking Nigeria. Because Nigeria is going through an industrial boom right now. Nigeria is in the period of their country that is similar to like the early 1950s for America in terms of their industrial boom. And they're also experiencing a massive population boom as well. In 1-2 decades, Nigeria is going to be a major... Nigeria or some other West African country is going to be a major player in both the political and economic market. That's just the way it is. As they're able to tap and effectively refine their oil reserves. Because that's been a crucial problem for them economically, is they've been able to tap but not refine their oil reserves. And the political situation, at least in Nigeria, not Niger, but Nigeria, is stabilizing, kind of. Anyway, bro went from Joe Dirt to Enrique Iglesias. I don't care. DLSS.
Number 9, just like his.
Hey, I'll take a number 9, fat boy.
Give me a number 9, just like his.
Let me get a number 6 with extra dip.
I'll have 2 number 9s.
Is this AI slot video?
Large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 number 45s, 1 with cheese, and a large soap. Let's eat.
Hey, I'll take a number 9.
Yeah. Fucking CJ, dude. They will never let the memes of this game die, dude. They're just going to go on forever. Oh, yeah. Amy Madigan. Amy Madigan won Best Actress for, oh gosh. What the fuck was that? Was it Robert Eggers? She played Miss Gladys or whatever in that one horror movie that I had not a lot of interest in seeing, but I see why people were interested because it was something different. But yeah, that's Ed Harris's wife. If you didn't know, she was also an actress. How You Met Tiana Taylor before I met her? Yeah. Oh, cheeks. I will say Tiana Taylor is actually a fairly attractive woman. I'm not into black girls, but she's fairly attractive. Quentin Tarantino refuses to watch Denis Villeneuve's Dune films. I saw David Lynch's Dune a few times. I don't need to see that story again. Villeneuve replied, I agree with him, but what I did was not a remake. Yeah, sure. Here's the thing, like, I think anybody that really listens to Quentin Tarantino's thoughts on most things in cinema are kind of dumb. Like, because like Quentin Tarantino is a guy with very weird tastes. Obviously, he's a feet guy. But, I think, some things that I think he's straight on about, some things I think he's just completely out of left field, and I wouldn't take his opinions too seriously about anything. I I don't even think he takes his opinions too seriously about anything. In terms of it being the same story over again, I mean, it is technically the same story over again. They're quite different films, though. Wake Up Samurai, we got an industry. Fucking, oh no, it's Alex. Wow. Now we wait for it to fail to meet 60 votes, and Congress spits in our faces again. Tim Pool is on his, like, MAGA villain arc. Tim Pool, you know what Tim Pool is on? Tim Pool is on his, please, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and please, Marjorie Taylor Greene, come back to our show. Please. I need views. Poor guy. Fucking Avengers. Oh yeah, Crimson Desert comes out. I probably am going to play that. Probably going to stream it. They showed it on base PS5 now, finally. And it ran, from what it looked like, good. So I'm probably going to play it I'm probably going to play it through Xbox on my PC. Funny enough, you can do that on an Xbox. Or at least through Xbox. Just in case, like, because I have my actual Xbox, so if I want to play it, like, in my living room when I'm not streaming it, I can play it down there. But it looked to be moving smoothly, so probably going to do that. I'm probably going to have a long stream of that, too, where I play. Probably going to have to wait till Thursday night's gaming stream to actually play it. But eventually, if I don't stream late into the night that night, I might stream, like, the next night, even though it literally releases the day before I have to go back into my work week, so it's a little rough, but I'll make it for the love of the game. I'm going to be playing it long hours anyway. Fallout Hub, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, terrible graphics. Literally unplayable on modders have to fit. Made by Bethesda, considered a masterpiece. Nah, fam. I would say that Fallout 4 didn't have most of this, but it is considered a bad game. I gotta be honest. It's been a very long time since I even touched New Vegas. I didn't play a lot of it, but it is considered a masterpiece. I mean, context is everything, though, when it comes to history, even gaming history, and the context was a lot different when Vegas came out versus Fallout 4. That's how history and time works. That's my dad. Oof. I'm leaving AMD after this. They got me. Xbox BG. I'm leaving AMD after this. They got me. You sound gay as hell. All right. Epic Mike promoting MegaCon. This is probably going to be a good week to stream, seeing that nobody is streaming because MegaCon. My body count history. I don't give a shit. Be gone, ho. By the way, I'm all in favor for, what's his name? James Fishbanks proposed 50% tax on OnlyFans models. Not only am I in favor of that, I think that should be a federal law, and I think 50% is far too nice. Make that shit like 80. End the gravy train for hoes. We need to end the gravy train for hoes. It has to stop. It has to stop. You want to be a hoe on camera, make your money, showing your flesh, your sinful flesh. Go down to Vivid Pictures, okay? Go down to Tushy. Go down to our boys at Blacked, all right? You know, like the good Lord intended. Sorry, I was channeling my inner Melanie Mac. Did it work? All right. I've only played Fallout 4 in VR. I like it. In VR? That would be an interesting game to play in VR. I never even thought of that, but I mean, Bethesda games are a bit like they're a bit like OG Doom. You can play them almost anywhere at this point. Who else can relate? Autosave. Do you trust me, gamers? No. Yeah. Fucking Rhino posts Rhino the Bouncer. His actual opinions are retarded. But he posts good, like, engagement bait. I will say that. I mean, I'm not going to engage with it. But Hot 97 hip hop gamer. First off, fuck that name. Fuck that name straight up. What is this guy saying? It's 8 minutes. We're not listening to all of it. Fuck that.
Did you see it? Do you see it? You already know what it is. DLSS 5, baby. 5, baby, is here. NVIDIA going crazy right now. They literally just...
This is the type of dude that wears, like, he doesn't wear Nikes. He buys them and then puts them in a trophy case. That's what we're dealing with here. By the way, he's as dead-eyed as, like, the Starfield NPC that he's covering right now.
It's changed gaming forever. For the better.
Forever.
Period. I told you.
Period. Yo.
I told you. Yo, look, you're rocking with the goat of the game, hip hop gamer, Hot 97 GGL. What up? Now look.
See, I will say though, DLSS 5 on the environments actually looks okay.
Look.
Like, it makes the environments and backgrounds more
This
lighting.
looks
But
insane.
oh my gosh. Mofo, how are you able to... How's he able to...
This looks...
How's he ever able to look at this shit and think that looks insane? Insanely whack? Insanely dog shit?
insane. I don't care what nobody say in life.
Like, Hogwarts Legacy is meant to be more idealistic, by the way. It's not meant to be photorealistic.
This is unbelievable.
Why are you standing in front of a background like that like you're some kind of fucking athlete? Stop, dude. You're fucking sports jacket. Like, this is a man. This is a man LARPing in a life that he did not actually attain. I'm sorry. Anyway, so that's a thing. Ayo, Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Still the biggest ratio I've ever seen on X. Yeah. 3 life-changing were... Jimmy's Famous Seafood is fucking killing it right now, dude. I know nothing about them, but I support them. Because they're to the point. First off, jacking off to... It's wild. Alright. Let's see here. Breaking. X adds dislike button for comments. They should have a dislike. Let's test this out. Oh no, there's not. It's a fucking lie. What a surprise. Bullshitting. Do you still trust your eyes, or do you trust someone else's opinions more than your eyes? Alright. DLSS off. Let's turn that shit off. I don't need that. DLSS. Okay, let's do this again. Off. On. Off. On. Just brightened it. Is that all? They're going to show another scene. Off. Okay. On. He looks... Hey, yo, my man looks terrible. He's just... It's bad, dude. Anyway. Again, if you think that looks good, more power to you, but fucking hell, dude. I feel like DLSS 5 would be more of a problem if I was watching a movie, not playing a game. I mean, here's the thing. Is it going to be noticeable in actual gameplay? Like when you're just running around gameplay? Probably not. Or if it does, it's going to just make the picture a little bit better quality, right? But is it going to cause this problem with actual like facial rendering and character rendering? Yes. Now, if they're able to upgrade it, change it to where it doesn't make characters look fucking cross-eyed like this, maybe DLS 6 is the real future, guys. But, you know, the real problem is that you're getting this. It's not the upgrade that we're getting beyond the just like what it does to character models. The upgrade that we're getting is not worth the trade-off that we're going to get for it, right? Which is lazier development. So you can get more slop characters that DLSS 5 is going to have to just fill in the gaps of. You're going to get longer wait times for optimization and higher development costs, which means you have a higher chance of AAA games failing, by the way, if they don't sell, which you're definitely going to get more of. So, yeah. Maybe I just enjoy Uncanny Valley. Hey, man, there's some people that enjoy, like, super hyper realistic graphics like this and think this looks good. If you're one of those people, that's fine. There's some people, there's a plethora of people that love Minecraft. I can't get over the fucking pixel art that I think looks like hot garbage. And I don't want to play Minecraft ever. But there are legions of people that love it. And who am I to say, like, hey, fuck you for liking that? I'm just saying that the problems this is going to cause are going to be extensive. And in the long run, they're going to end up costing the AAA industry. Indie games are fine. Slay the Spire just came out. It is a roguelike deck building strategy game with very minimal graphics. It's doing over nearly 600,000 player peak. Indie games are fine. You know, there's an old George Carlin joke where he was talking about, like, he was actually talking about environmentalism, where he was like, people keep telling me that the planet is in trouble, or the planet, you know, is global warming is making the planet in trouble. And he said, no, you don't understand. The planet is fine. The people are fucked, but the planet is fine. And that's how I feel about this. Gaming as an industry is fine. The indie devs are fine. AAA gaming is fucked. And this is going to make them more fucked. And again, this is a toggle, right? But that's for now. Because what NVIDIA really wants to do is they want to establish this as the standard. Because if they establish this as the standard that top tier AAA games are compared to, then they can sell you the equipment over and over. That's how they get you. And then, oh, you need graphics cards to run this? Sell you the graphics cards. Oh, you need this to run this? You need this to do that? We could sell you this. It's all about, how do I push more product? The business is everything. That's how these guys think. The business is everything. I respect it. I'm not going to let them openly, easily, rake me over the coals for their business. But I respect it. Anyway, moving on from that. Jack Reacher director blames himself for killing the franchise. Well, they only made like one movie, right? I don't blame Tom for not being 6'2" like Lee Child's Reacher. I blame myself for thinking audience wanted a mashup of Jack Reacher and Paper Moon when, in fact, they wanted more red meat. Yeah, common rule in filmmaking. Give the people what they expect to get out of an established IP. I know. It's crazy, right? What a surprise. Who could have predicted? People want what they know an IP is in the movie version of their IP. It's astonishing. It's why Star Wars is failing. It's why Marvel is failing. It's why DC is failing. Just give the people what they want. Jerry's fucking... God. Okay, I'll do Meghan McCain pod, but that's it. And I'll tell you... All right. He's pandering. No one is mad at you, Jerry. See, this... Now my whole timeline is Jerry O'Connell. Something is off. Watch closely. This guy is just like a leftist, like wedge driving account. Probably ran by the fucking Krasensteins, because the Krasensteins fucking run all those accounts, right? Jake from State Farm. Oh, fucking ad. Hot take: humanity is the worst thing to ever happen to the planet. Oh, so you're retarded. I feel the same way if I lived in... Our boy Epic Mike got a dub. The drunk Republican reply, I don't want to show fucking Shane Gillis putting a piece in his mouth. End up like drunk 3PO. Let's see here. Tim Pool is really unhinged about me, and I don't know if it's more sad or funny. It doesn't make me mad or bother me, but it's pretty ridiculous and completely unnecessary. Well, James Lindsay is retarded, which does have me concerned that he's very, like, pro-Trump going into Iran. But also, Tim Pool is retarded. So, two retards fighting. Now, hold on. Avatar. If they pull this off, it will easily be the greatest trilogy. Ain't no way, boy. Yeah, Avatar is not the greatest trilogy. No way, not even close. But they changed. Yeah, it looks shit. That's how they changed her. Oh, fucking side scrollers head. Can we admit that side scrollers is like, it's not going to be a thing? I shall not name this individual. Craig, holy shit, I can't believe full handle here did this. It's not going to be as big, I think, as Craig wants it to be ever. Like, it has a good audience right now, but I don't think it's ever going to be as big as he wants it to. Anyway, what is this? We've been going almost hour 45 now. I don't care about Hassan and Asmongold. Hassan and Asmongold, by the way, this is modern wrestling. Just to let you know. This is modern, like, Hulk Hogan versus, like, I don't know, the rest of the fucking WWE, WWF that hated him. Like, that's what this is. Like, Hassan and Asman are modern day wrestlers now. They just do it over the mic on podcasts rather than in the ring. Anyway. DLSS. That's a good one. Anyway, I think this is where we're going to call it. I'm going close to an hour 45. We'll be back Thursday with a gaming stream. Probably playing Crimson Desert. Maybe, if not that, we'll be playing Fable. We've been going through Fable. The goal there is to play through all of Fable. Fable 1, Fable 2, Fable 3 into Fable, the new Fable game that's going to come out. But then again, the new Fable game is supposed to come out in autumn of this year. So who knows when that's actually going to come out. And I think the reason why they keep that vague is because they're waiting to see when GTA 6 officially announces that it's going to come out this fall, so they can put it like a month before, so they don't get fully cucked by GTA 6. Because nobody's playing anything but GTA 6 when GTA 6 drop. I'm sorry. That's it. Anyway, that's going to be it for me tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Love you chatters that came in, decided to chat here. I always like it better when there's people in the chat talking to me a little bit. You guys are the real ones. Appreciate everybody who's lurking, popped in, see what the stream is about. Catch it on the VOD, all that stuff. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Always appreciative. You guys are what make this whole thing go around. More videos to come probably tomorrow, and shorts, etc. all in the intermediate. Always churning out more content. Until then, have a good night. We'll see you on the next edition of Doom Scrollcast. And before then, of course, on the gaming stream on Thursday. Have a good night. We'll see you. All that good stuff. Goodbye. Farewell.